Hey everyone, I'm back after a long period of going MIA. The last podcast that I did was actually in July 2025. So it's been about 6 months of going away. For those of you who may be keen to know, the podcast actually came about because I was doing 24 to 25 episodes of people. The most recent season that came about after my book, No More Bosses, went live. Actually a bit of an imposter syndrome because I was thinking, did I get it right? Did I push people over the cliff because what worked for me may not work for them? So that actually motivated me to speak with more people out there to find out their journey and try to see what actually worked for them. Hopefully I can distill some similarities and some interesting bits. Someone sponsored 24 episodes of the podcast, so I have to play catch up. It was supposed to be 24, but I did one more. I condensed it into a blog post, and that actually got caught by my publisher, and she said, hey, this could be a book. So right now I am actually waiting for her to come back with a contract to write the next book, which project title is called No More Excuses. So if you see No More Bosses as more of the tactical aspect, No More Excuses will be more of the philosophical aspect, the why versus the how. So we shall see how that goes. Over the past few months, I've engaged very much on the work that I've been doing. I'm still CMO for companies, primarily HR tech. You may have heard me on the Financial Coconut thing for some of the episodes. To this podcast, I am at this moment still unsure when things may go back to normal programming. It is quite a tedious thing to do everything yourself. The last few episodes of previous season, I did everything on site, and those are all untreated environments. It took me a lot of time to do post-production. There was one particular episode I spent 5 hours just to edit a 45 minutes podcast. It was very painful because there was a lot of reverb, a lot of bleed that I had to take care of post-production. So with that said, today I want to make it possible for me to push this out live, so you're not going to see a lot of post-production work. I just want to spend a bit more time speaking with you, talking to you, and to share one of my key observations over the past week, which I believe might be interesting for folks out there. I'm seeing a lot of people going into content creation. Now, podcast, video, writing, all these are content creation. I started content creation way before content creation was even a term. That was when blogging was actually a thing. Fast forward to today, everyone is trying to use content to make any leverage that they have. And I'm seeing this especially for mid-career professionals who are trying to set themselves up for a next bigger thing, or maybe to prepare for another phase in their professional life, maybe doing solo work, becoming a consultant, so on and so forth. And of course, most people would gravitate towards LinkedIn because traffic is there. The key difference right now versus how I did it back then was, back then there was no ChatGPT. You actually have to write it yourself, which also means your tone of voice on paper likely is very similar to your tone of voice in person. Now, why is this important? I've been following this person on LinkedIn, and he publishes a weekly newsletter distilling some of his lessons and know-how of companies around the region. Not only are the newsletter insightful, the tone of voice is also, I wouldn't use the word forceful, but very blunt, very upfront, which makes it very interesting. So if you think about it, it's somewhat like how Alex Homos would communicate, very blunt, very forceful. So issues after issues, you tend to get the impression that this person will be just like that, very controversial, very straight in your face kind of character. Some time ago, he actually organized a meetup. So my friend asked me to go there, and I went with him. And there was one segment where he has to interview a couple of founders about their journey and all that. I wasn't impressed with the way he conducted his interview. He was all over the place. There was no sequencing. There's no interesting bites. And it got me thinking, perhaps the newsletter persona is not his true persona. And likely it's because he, like many people out there, including myself, uses AI to write right now. As much as I use AI just like everybody else, it's mainly used as an ideation partner as well as an editor. The actual creation, the raw draft, the raw thoughts, all this has to come from yourself. And of course, the tone of voice have to synchronize, which is why many people who see me in person, they would feel that there's no difference from the way I write. It's very deliberate. But for many other people that I've seen, because of how amazing I can be, they would tend to replicate perhaps people that they admire. Oh, can you help me write? Like insert whatever famous writer that you can think of. Unless you intend to become a paid writer, it should lead you to something bigger. In my case, my writing has brought me in the space that I wanted to get into. I started writing about HR tech many years ago when I wanted to enter that space. Eventually, I got it. I also use content as a way to get my last 2 jobs. That is why you want to synchronize the things that you said to the real you. Otherwise, you may remember or you may have heard of what people often tell you, don't meet your heroes. Why is that so? Because seeing your heroes often disappoint. Because your heroes is not what is being put out, or rather your heroes is not what you envision them to be, and hence they often disappoint you. So with all that said, writing and any content creation, I feel is the right path for many professionals to put themselves out there and for opportunities to come to them, or for them to create a portfolio of work and evidence of work of what they are good in, what they are expert in. But ultimately, it has to synchronize with your tone of voice. If you don't talk like that, you don't write like that. Otherwise, people are just going to be very disappointed with the guy that eventually get to meet in person. A quick hack, perhaps for those who might be keen to do content creation or to do writing, but to have it sound more like you can try to use dictation app. I've been toying with a bunch of them. I tried Whisper, I tried Willow, but right now I'm very much centered on typeless. I'm still using the free version, and for Whisper and Willow, they actually give you a limit of 1,000 words per week, whereas typeless is going to 4,000 words per week. There is also a version on your computer, so that will help you to synchronize certain things and settings that you may have in mind. Not a big thing, but I guess I appreciate that. I would use typeless right now to dictate some of my thoughts, blog posts, my responses, lengthy emails that I want to write. And often it isn't like AI where it tries to over-format it. It just tries to help you make it more coherent. So you can put in your rambling and all that is perfectly fine. So that might be a better way for people who may be on the initial or early stage of trying to create your own content. Just speak it out, because how you normally speak is how people would see you and judge you as your behavior. So if you can just speak the way you write, then there will be no disconnect in the things that you've written and your true self. And with that, thank you so much for listening to me. Moving forward, I am hoping to do more monologue. I was aiming for this episode to go on in January, but the master procrastinator in me continued to push until I can only do this on 1st of February. But the good thing is, I more or less have reconciled with myself. I'm not going to spend so much time on post-production, so I should be able to push this out the same day that I have it recorded. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you for following my podcast, and you'll be the first one to be posted of any new updates, any new progress in the Adrian Tan Show, and also other aspects of things that I believe you may be interested in.